At the start of the week, I was down at the International Victims' Day that was organised by Jim Allister. It was to remember the victims internationally, the innocent victims. And indeed I spoke with numerous people from different parties and quite a few people from the DUP who have to say we had a very good chat and some interesting points was made. But Jonathan Bell, the victims representative in OFM DFM, I went to speak to him and he basically turned away from me as if I was a piece of dirt. And he made it clear, I think he mumbled, if you want to speak to me, speak to my officials first. In other words, you're not good enough to speak directly to me. Go through my officials. But it shows you what we have to deal with. This is how they treat. Now, it's not me, I can take it. It's not me they're treating, it is the people that I'm involved with. The widows of the King's Mills, the Darkleys, even my own family. They're trampling on the memory of our loved ones whenever they do that. And they should be ashamed of themselves. Like I said 14 years ago, whenever I first met that individual, that his only concern was for himself. But now he's the victim's representative in OFM, DFM. Heaven help us. That's all I can say. That man has no interest whatsoever in helping people like ourselves. At long last, and again, people told us years ago that we would never get anywhere. The Smithic Tribunal, we were responsible for getting that up and going. Yes, there was other individuals who were involved and other individuals who we brought stuff to. And I have to say, yes, Jeffrey Donaldson helped out as well. Jeffrey done a good job by raising it in the House of Commons. But the information, the gain of that information, the gain of that intelligence, speaking to people who were involved and knew certain things in that part of the world, it was ourselves who did that. It was the innocent victims who did that. We knew 14 years ago, and indeed, if people go back on my website, not FAIR's website, my website, because apparently we're not allowed as an organisation to have a view, but I still will have a view. I will not be silenced. But to get back to the point, I said 14 years ago that the two individuals who were got that day, what they were guilty of, what evidence they had on them, right down to the fact that there was enough to convict them. Now, let me tell you what happened. Yesterday at the tribunal, the senior investigating officer who was dealing with the murder of the 18 soldiers at Narrawater gave his evidence about how he was dealt with and how the evidence was dealt with in the south of Ireland. First off, two men stopped on a motorbike that was bought by Mickey Collins. Now remember who Mickey Collins was? Mickey Collins was a senior IRA man later on who was involved in quite a few other incidents. He bought it in Bestbrook off the individual. That was all known. Even the very price they paid for it, £100 and something. These men were got, their clothes was got with traces of explosives, traces of gun residue. One of their cars, which was got later on, had traces of explosives in their car. They found a hat and gloves at the scene. The motorbike was seen at the scene. They got DNA on a cigarette butt which belonged to Burns. They had enough evidence to convict them men. And the senior investigating officer in the RUC said that for the first time from 1979, he has seen the file that the Garda had prepared. And he said that the evidence was actually very good and would have been enough to convict the men. Now remember, there was 18 men killed and a number of individuals injured as well. There's that much evidence, it's just unbelievable. But we said that 14 years ago because we knew it. We'd been told about it. And indeed, we went in 2005 and gave that to the guards and asked them why nothing has been done about it. Now I'll tell you why. You may find this hard to believe, but this is fact. And we are going to try and make contact with the soldiers' families, because I believe they need to go after the Irish government for what they've done here. Now let me tell you exactly what happened. They had 3 meetings, the police had 3 meetings with the Garda in Dublin Castle, which were very heated and indeed were very unhelpful with the senior command structure of the Guards. On the 4th meeting, they were told not to come back, directly from the Taoiseach. Directly from him. And this is his words. The attack was a political attack, and they'll be getting no more help from the Southern government or the Guards. And also, the bit that didn't come out, but I'll tell you it anyway, because it is there. He also said, after Bloody Sunday, they deserved all they got. The police were told to leave Dublin Castle and not to come back. These were the men investigating one of the worst atrocities in Northern Ireland, where 18 men were murdered, blew to pieces, and a number of other individuals seriously injured. The senior police officers were told to get out and not to come back, because the offence was political and they would be getting no more help from the Irish government or the Guards, and also that they deserved all they got, because after Bloody Sunday they deserved it. Now that last bit hasn't come out, but it will before we're finished. People told me 12 years ago we wouldn't get to where we did in this last few days with this tribunal, and there's more, a lot more. Believe me, there is a lot more. The evidence that was available was destroyed by the officer in charge of the investigation in the south of Ireland. Who was that Garda officer? Corrigan, the very man that has been investigated for collusion with the IRA. It is riddled to the backbone with individuals within the Guards who were involved in collusion with the IRA. A bag that they used, clothes that they were wearing, all that type of stuff was destroyed by the senior Garda officer in charge of the investigation. And these men walk free. But here's the bit that people don't realise. Them men went on to kill at least 20 other individuals before they finally were stopped. But after this coming out, I think it is now proven that we need answers from the Irish government, and they've left us no choice. We will have to go back onto the streets of Dublin to demand the right to justice. And we've tried to talk to them, we've tried to negotiate with them, but they've continually ignored us. So don't blame us. Blame the fact that they will not come up to the mark and give us the answers we deserve as a border community. So if we're back in Dublin, don't come whinging that we're to blame for whatever happened, because all we're looking is justice. We're going for a peaceful walk, which we're entitled to do as a democratic society, which I believe is supposed to be still in the south of Ireland a democratic society. But after listening to what the Taoiseach has just said and seeing what they've done over the years, I begin to wonder.